In this video, we're going to go over a series of questions pertinent to customer relations, and in particular, we're talking about questions that you can ask widows or widowers. So, being a widow means you're a female that had a husband, or I think a wife too, that has deceased. So you're just a female person that their spouse has passed, and a widower is the male version of that. So their wife or husband, has passed, and this is a series of questions that are pertinent to people with that experience. So I'll say it's up to you if you want to go down the rabbit hole of asking some of these questions. Honestly, I've had an amazing opportunity to work for lots of residents that are in the 55 plus communities, for example. Many of them are widows or widowers where they're 85 or 90 or some are younger and their spouse has passed, unfortunately. And I think I like to think myself as someone that has empathy, and I just like to ask it about people. I'm curious, and this can be really therapeutic for customers. Honestly, I've heard them communicate the impact to me, and it made me feel just amazing that I, cared enough to ask them these things that they maybe could help them go through the grieving process, or honestly, I just think it was helpful. Like, they appreciated it. I appreciated learning and hearing about their experience. So it's up to you. This is a tougher series of questions than the others. It's, to be honest, a lot of the questions are the same. Just the context of a deceased spouse can be tough. So feel it out. If the person is open and willing and communicative, then keep asking. If they're not, get some context clues. So pertinent to married couples too, I just like to ask, how long were you guys married? Oftentimes they're 40, 50, 60 years. In that case, what lessons do you have? Do you have any lessons for a 30 or 40 or 50-year relationship? Oftentimes, especially more seniors, older seniors that have had a spouse that's deceased, they love to answer the question, how did you meet? Oftentimes it's in like a really old school way, which is kind of just cool to rediscover and talk about and think about. If I lived 50 years ago, that's potentially how I'd meet my spouse. That's crazy. What year did you meet? Beyond, how did you meet? So location, what year? What did you like and appreciate about them? I think that is in particular a tough question. But I know I've been given a couple very heartfelt answers that I, thought it was amazing to hear someone talk about their spouse in such admirational ways. So that's a tough question, but one of my favorites. What activities did you guys like to do together? Oftentimes people will talk about playing golf or traveling. Traveling is a huge one, and you'll see pictures all throughout the house, and seeing pictures is a good segue to ask some questions too. The last question, applicable to everyone, what did you or what did your spouse do for a career? Some people like to explore that and talk about, their career life, because oftentimes we work for people that in general are really successful. That's why they ended up in a community where we target them specifically for services. So oftentimes people have some cool careers that they talk about. So that is a holistic list of some questions to ask for widows or widowers, people that have a spouse that have deceased. So be yourself, be personable, be conversational. It's a great opportunity to build a relationship with, this customer so that we can go help them in the future. And honestly, just like makes your day go a lot better because you took some time, you slowed down, and you had some in-person interaction. And I know I appreciate that. So those are some questions to ask widows or widowers.